Hi, this is Shah Raleigh, and we're going to discuss about top 7 tips or misconception about the H4 EAD. The H4 EAD has been enacted since 2015, allowing people to get a work permit under the H4 visa depending on the situation. And we are going to cover some of the topics here today about misconception especially, and also ultimately about other issues that are related to H4. And one of the things that we see all the time is basically that many people tend to think that the H4 itself is pretty much a status. H4 is a status, sorry, but H4 EAD is not a status. Uh, the H4 is still the status. The reason I'm saying that is because some people think once they get the EAD, they can travel on that EAD. No, you cannot travel on the EAD. You can travel on your H4 visa, but not your EAD. As such, don't confuse the EAD H4 with the I145 EAD. Second one is that if you have an I140 approved from another company, can you use that to get the H4 EAD for your spouse? The answer is yes. You don't. There's no rule that requires that the I-140 be from the same company which is maintaining your H-1B for your spouse to file for the H-4 EAD. And then also for those who have already gotten an extension under H-1B beyond 6 years, even the I-140 has been terminated or revoked, you might be able to get the H4 EAD for your spouse. But be very careful there, because many people tend to transfer and they might end up in more problems on the H1 itself, but not on the H4 EAD. But if you lose the H1, of course, the H4 will be gone and ultimately the H4 EAD. So, bottom line, you don't need the I-140 all the time. Now, the next misconception or tips here: you cannot file the H4 EAD while you're outside the United States. Many have the impression that they can file and wait there until they get their EAD to come back. You cannot do that. You can file for, if you are an H4, you can file for the EAD, leave the country, and wait for the approval. Yes, that's doable. But if you are doing, for example, a change of status from F1 or another visa moving to H4, the once you leave the country, you will lose the H4 change of status, and ultimately you won't be able to get the EAD. And number six, we also have filed the H4 EAD can actually own a business. Yes, they can actually own a business, but the problem is many people don't know how it's dealt with. So be very careful on that. Make sure that the H1 is maintaining their visa so that you can own a business. And actually, we encourage people to have a business. And there's also number seven, where we basically talk about H4 can be filed concurrently and with the with the EAD. So if you're changing status to H4, you can file the H4 EAD concurrently, and we recommend you doing that. There's number 5 slide which is missing because of the recording, but what it basically says, you have to maintain how to maintain the H4 EAD. One of the rules is to make sure that you actually maintain the H1 to make this happen. And thank you very much for listening. Just to give you those tips and those misconceptions, anything I'm telling you today is for educational purposes only. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any questions. And the number to our office, 510-742-5887. Thank you. If you like our videos, please subscribe on YouTube/Sharp Raleigh Law. Thank you.